Excellent. Thank you so much, Christian, Pedro, and FESPA. It's really a privilege to be speaking to people that know how I feel, because I'm sure we're all feeling these ups and downs. I want to also say just a quick thing, because I want to get into my speech, but I do want to say in your video, in your initial video, great scenery behind. I saw that you had Angola on the map there. So that was really, you're showing the future. So, guys, as I was saying, if we ever had any doubts that life was about ups and downs, they've just been proven once again that they are really about ups and downs. And my life has been a bit of an ups and downs. I'm actually hoping that it doesn't go down for a while again. But I did in 2000, I'm not going to explain the whole story, but I do have a story where I was really on top of the world. And then, I thought nothing could hurt me, big ego, and all of a sudden it did, and it came tumbling down. And I normally used to say, and I lost everything. And the truth is, I didn't lose everything, because actually my wife stayed with me. I was a bit younger, not so many grays, and no belly. So she stayed with me. But something else also stayed with me, which was experience. It was an incredible experience that I went through. And although, at that time, it felt like the end of the world, very quickly understood that I had a lot of other skills and experience skills that would get me back up to the top. And that's, what I want to share with you guys a little bit today. As you've seen, this COVID came from nowhere. No one really could predict or be prepared for it. It's hit us without a doubt, and we've had to get comfortable to get uncomfortable. We've also had to forget a lot of our future memories, all those plans we had. We were going to travel, we were going to do this, we were going to expand, etc., etc. We had to forget them. And at the moment, we've had to really just get into survival mode. But I think at the same time, we're now starting to get comfortable with survival mode. And as good humans that we should be, we should now start thinking again, what do we do? All right, get out of the survival mode. And that's what I want to speak to you a little bit about today. With regards to, I could be telling you, the best investments that you should be making now, and the best this and the best thing. But the best investment really will be in yourselves at the moment, not in the stock exchange, and unfortunately not even maybe in your business, sad to say. But it really is going to be in yourself, because if you don't come out of this stronger and believing in yourself, it's going to be a really tough time for you and for everyone that you're leading, and for your clients and for your suppliers, etc. So you're really going to have to get comfortable with yourself. And how are you going to do this? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I've got to admit, for about 3 days, I was totally, not sleeping, wondering what's going to happen, what's going on with my staff, etc., etc. So the first thing I actually started doing was communicating. So I started communicating with my staff, with my suppliers, my clients, and I just started sending WhatsApps and making phone calls. And I straight away started seeing that there was comfort. They started to understand, okay, we're there for them. But at the same time, I started thinking, how am I going to get through this? And that's when I decided, I need a business plan this time for me, not just for my business. We always make business plans for our businesses, but I needed a business plan for myself. And there I came through and I started thinking, what really do I need for myself? And those were the 3 things that I wanted to be really honest about. One was obviously physical. We started hearing about how this disease is going to destroy you if you're not fit, if you're not eating the right things, etc. So I thought, well, let me start eating well, and let me start walking, even though limited. Let me do circles. Let me start, doing a push-up now and then. But I really thought physical, let me get a little bit more fit on that side and eat a little bit better, etc. It's not easy, coming from South Africa, I just want to eat meat. So I was finally introduced to a cabbage and a piece of lettuce, etc. So I got going with that, and that started strengthening up. I started thinking, okay, physical, that's great. Now, I've got to get to the next set of getting stronger. And that's got to be the mental side. And the mental side really is always one of those tough sides. We always think we're good mentally, etc. But I decided, no, I really need to get strong. And I thought, what's going to get me through this is going to be really concentrating on common sense and being pragmatic. So I thought, I'm going to be super transparent. I'm going to be super direct. And that's how I'll keep myself mentally fit, is by just saying it the way it is, by keeping this, it's a muscle, keep working this muscle. I'm going to start doing some of these mock degrees online. I thought, what really interests me, let me just take one of these mock degrees and get going, because I'll be at least working the muscle, and at the same time I'll get a little bit more interesting, and mentally it should start getting stronger as well. And that really did, because I think what we have understood is that we will actually lose our anxieties and our stress if we get new skills, and these new skills give us confidence that we've got new skills for this coming future. And we forget that, we can't be ostriches and just hide or just think back on what it was like or what it was, because it's not going to be that. So skills, I got into that, started working the skills, and that's super cheap because they're free online. So no one's got an excuse, but do it and do something that you enjoy. And I promise you, it will help not just what you're learning, but it will actually help, again, your mentality, your self-confidence, and just get you out there stronger with that muscle. So I sort of upgraded myself mentally. I also started writing a few articles just to share what I thought, and I would actually wait for criticism, because that's what was really making it exciting. It was when I said something that would piss someone off. It was a lot better than when everyone agreed, because that's, the whole media was just saying the same thing. So I thought, let me say something different. So mentally, that was how I got going. And then obviously there's the third side, which is your emotional side. And obviously my emotional side, you can't get through that alone. So I thought, let me make a quick list of all the positive friends I have, all those, I took off the list, all the zombies, all the vampires, all the guys that just suck your energy. And if you give them a call, all they want to tell you is, yes, it's so bad, we're going to close, banks are going to take everything, etc. This. So I thought, let me get rid of all those vampires and just do Walking Dead, get away from them, run. I'm not going to spend time with them. It's too hard, too much energy. And I thought, let me find those positive ones that seem to always just, oh yeah, we okay. I'm doing yoga today. I don't know. So I thought I'll spend a bit of time with those, phone them. So I actually put them on my list. I started phoning them. How's it going? Oh, all good, great. This is this new normal. We're doing this, we're doing that. So I thought, great, all right, I'll stick to these kind of people. And I also thought, let me get strength from my family. So we were spending more time. So I thought, well, let's then spend more time doing good things, like not just series, all these kind of things. So we actually put in a little rule, no TV until 7 in the evening. And we had time to do things and talk. And I'd been privileged because 2019, I went around the world with the family. We did, the Trans-Siberia through Russia and China, Mongolia, and then all the way Australia, New Zealand, Japan, right around Canada back. And I'd actually seen that spending time with your family, with your kids, you actually learn a lot. So I thought, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll learn again from these because they sort of, will keep you emotionally strong. And again, it really did. It really, really did. And then, obviously you've got your problems. I thought, how do I get even stronger emotionally? Is I forget about my problems and I start thinking of others' problems. So I started Escola Portugal, where I really started by helping people that couldn't pay their energy bill, and it was little amounts, but it you pay it and you feel good that at least you're helping someone. Then you just keep giving advice. It doesn't even be monetary. You just give advice, give out those good vibes. And I started just helping out, and I sort of started finding new opportunities, and because of that, I started getting stronger. So it's actually almost unfair that when you do give, you receive a lot more. So I just started receiving, and it was really powerful. So I thought, well, that's it. If you don't know what your passion is, or if you've got problems, start giving to others, and you'll quickly find your passion, and you'll also get rid of most of your problems because you'll be focused on other issues, and you will learn with that how to even resolve your own problems. Because sometimes your problems, the answers are there, but you've got to say it to someone else and then say, well, maybe I should do that as well. All right. So that really did work. And then I also came out of this thinking, once I'd sorted out this physical, this mental, and the emotional, I started thinking I'm really going to be a balanced person. I'm so tired of the right and the left. Everything on media, it's either right or left. And there's so little in the middle, but I know more people in the middle than I know on the right or the left. So I thought I'll just keep balance. Balance is the key here. And I just said, not too much meat, not too many lettuce. Balance everywhere in my life. And I really felt like that's a great equilibrium to getting stronger and happier. So once I had those three things sorted out, I also decided, what, I really believe in two things. And I'm just going to push that even more now with going through this COVID and all that. And those two things, and I'm now going to mention them, and it's even weird when I mention them because you always feel a bit weak when I mention these words. It's painful. But I thought, I'm going to concentrate on these two things. And the one is, no CEO loves to say this word, but it's a word. It's love, So I thought, okay, I'll start making a few decisions on love. And love, it's a tough one because love doesn't mean you're only going to be making really the easy decisions and the nice decisions. It actually makes you do tough decisions. So even if you do have to let someone off, let them go. If you do it honestly and with the right intent, you've given, you've tried your best, etc., but you let them go, in one way, it's actually going to be good for you and for them. And that's I've learned through time. It's no use sometimes just holding on decisions. So I thought, look, I'll make decisions with love, however tough they'll be. I'll, keep running our business with love, which really means just trust and transparency. That's what it really means. It doesn't mean I go around kissing anyone or anything like that. It really just means that. But I also understood, if I do it in my home, and we don't have I've never believed that we've got a work-life balance. We have one life. That's it. So I thought, if it's the way I'm doing it at home, I'm going to do it with my business and with my partners and with my suppliers, etc. So I went with this transparency, with this trust. And the one thing I said is, I'm going to say it as it is, and it's going to be because of love. So I felt good with that. And then the other thing is I thought, what? Once you've got love, you've got to be able to forgive. All right. So I also came up with this love and forgiveness. And the forgiveness side was really, again, for me, because obviously you're going to get hurt now. There's going to be suppliers who can't pay you or can't supply you. And there's going to be clients that close up. There's going to be really tough issues that go on in our businesses or even in our lives, etc. So I thought, what, if I can't forgive or stop thinking about that, I'm never going to move forward. I'll be looking backwards. And if I'm looking backwards, I'm probably going to hit the wall. So I thought, forgiveness is it. So with balance, love, and forgiveness, once again, those were three topics I concentrated on. I felt stronger. I had those as core values. And the forgiveness side of it, really, the way I looked at it is, we never go into business for things to go wrong, but it happens. We never go into relationships for things to go wrong. It happens. So the other side is no one's perfect. Neither are we, but we expect everyone to be perfect. So as we're not either, forgiveness became easier for me. So it really did, and it works. Trust me. Just it doesn't mean you forget. It just means you forgive. Okay. So then, I also thought about this a lot, and I thought, with the travels I did last year, 2019. I started thinking, in life, it's so weird. We go through what I thought of 3 stages, and we go through, the Maslow pyramid, and it's very clearly defined, etc. But we've always got like happiness, right, fulfillment right at the top. So I thought, it's maybe wrong. We should try and get fulfillment a lot quicker and a lot easier. And how do we do that? So I started to think, the first thing of need. And need really, yes, your food, shelter, etc. Most of us get to that. We really do get to that. And even when we start getting to that, we're already sort of happy. But then we get to this next stage. And this next stage is the one I'm going to tell you guys, try get through this stage as fast as possible, because it's a terrible stage. And some people I know have never got through it. And it's unfortunate, because you only really get to self-fulfillment. You only really get to true happiness once you can get through this. And that's really the greed stage. So you get into this greed where now, you've got, you need a bigger house. You start looking at your neighbors. You need newer cars. You need more things, more. You need more TVs in your house. And all of a sudden, without knowing it, you've got this whole greed, just constantly thinking that the more I get, the happier I'll be. And it goes on for a few years normally. It's like, and you don't notice it. It just goes and it happens, etc. And COVID really did. I'd already seen it during my trip, where I came back and I really wanted to get rid of a lot of stuff. And then COVID once again proved that it is true, because I looked at it and I looked at my friends with all this greed and all that, and how much anxiety and stress they had because they had so much to lose. So I thought, this is like madness. We got all this stuff to lose, so we can't sleep at nights. So I thought, yeah, there's greed. We got to get through it. We got to get through greed. And that's where it leads us to that third stage. And that third stage, which is the most important and the one I urge you to get to, and the one I see my kids will probably get to quicker than we ever did, because they've been in this, they don't really need this greed, because they're into this sharing economies. They'll use Uber. They will want something smaller, et cetera. It's the freed stage. So it goes from need to greed, and then you finally hit the freed. And the freed, the earlier you hit that one, the better. And the freed really just means that you've got a lot less. Okay, you've got a lot less to lose. Okay, and when you have a lot less to lose, you have a lot less anxiety, a lot less stress, and you actually do the good stuff in life, the stuff that you actually do love, the experiences. You start putting, at the moment you can't put travel on the top, but you start putting friends and family and doing just, reading a book, taking a walk, etc. And that freed stage is amazing. And, I saw it during my travels when I went, around the world. I actually saw so many happy people in Asia. I've seen so many happy people throughout Africa when I've been there, and they've got so little. And I always wonder, geez, how are they so happy, those smiles and all that. And then I've realized it's because they don't have credit cards. They don't have, they're not going to lose, their second and third home. They're not going to lose their boat. They're not going to lose any of that. So of course they can smile. They've got a lot more than many others. So I thought, that's so true. And then I also understood about hope, like faith and hope, because of this. Because you start to understand that, they might have little, they might have really little, but they have hope that they will get better in life. They've got a hope and faith that they will improve their lives. And then we've got us, the Western world, where we seem like life's at its best. It can only get worse. So we're losing our hope, because our faith isn't there that we can actually get better, because we still look at it in terms of money, in terms of assets, GDP of our countries. But it's not about like true happiness or how do you sleep at night, or how much do you smile. And that's where I saw that all these countries with people with a lot less to lose were a lot happier. So I thought, there is something to this. And then I did a scientific experiment, which was during COVID. In Portugal, I was in the Alentejo. I've got a farm there, so I was super fortunate. I had a lot of space and all that. But my best friend there is a dog called Rambo. It's a miniature Yorkshire that walks with me 12 kilometers a day. It's a monster of a dog. It really does think it's a Rottweiler, although it's 3.2 kilos. And I made some food. The Portuguese, we love our food. So I made a pork leg, which is like cooked for hours and hours. And then you take the bone off, and all the meat just goes in with fava beans. And I had this huge bone, and I thought, now I'm going to give this to my Rambo, my favorite friend here, and he's going to love this. So I gave him this bone, this huge bone, which I thought, it was going to make him happy. So he received it, and all of a sudden he was like super happy, super happy. I see the dog there. Yeah. Yeah. He was so super happy to get the bone. And After about 10 minutes, he was with his bone, and he was still there with the bone. After about half an hour, he was like looking threatening, and my kids couldn't even go close to him. My other dog couldn't go close to him. He was growling and super trembling, even from fear that he would lose his bone. And I thought, geez, this is exactly our lives. He's got this bone, and now he can't even come to me because he wants to come, but he can't leave the bone. He can't bring the bone with him. So he was going through huge stress, huge anxiety. So I thought, you know what? Now let me test this, and let me take his bone away. As soon as I took his bone away, he was happy again. It was unbelievable. He was like, he had no worries. He had nothing to lose. All he wanted to do was spend time with me. He was back to his normal Rambo. And I thought to myself, Tim, start writing down how many bones have you got that you don't need. How many bones can you get rid of that will just make life easier, and from everything, from responsibilities, from acids, what do you not need? Okay, and that was also really powerful for me, because I invest in lots of startups and all that, and I made a hard look at it. I took a hard look, and I said no to a few startups. I exited them virtually at zero, at loss. It didn't matter, but I promise you, it just lifted, and I got into a freed stage even further. So it was really brilliant to get rid of all those bones. So, this all doesn't happen alone. You do need to have those friends I spoke about. You do have to have that family you spoke about. You've got to have support. But the thing is that it starts with you. It really does. I've tried to, like myself, motivate people to do changes in their lives and take steps in their lives, but it doesn't. You can't do it. You can't change them. Okay, you can't influence them, but you can do it to yourself. You really can. You can make those decisions yourself. And again, I said, you'll make those decisions, but you still got to go with others. In Africa, there's that one thing: you can go fast alone, but you can go further with others. And you really do need others for this. Okay. So another thing, that I'm going to tell you, and I'm just going to, say a few points here. One is, you must just accept it that you won't change others. You can't change everyone else, but you can change yourself. So work on yourself. And that comes back to that business plan I said. You really, really can. Also, another thing I can tell you is that this won't be the last crisis. We hit the 2000.com, then the 2008 which financial crisis, which everyone told me, well, the .com, they told me it's once in a lifetime. Then we came to 2008, once in a lifetime. Now we hit COVID, once in a lifetime. I'm sorry to tell you, unless you're living every 10 years, it's not going to be once in a lifetime. A crisis, get comfortable with it. If you're young, you've got a few coming. So, and if you're old, I promise you, I don't think this will be your last one either. And we just, like I said, we're animals of a habit. We do the same things. We get there, and that's it. So we really do need to get comfortable that you can't control the future, but you can adapt, and you can have less to lose in the future. All right. So that's what I would say. You can't change the future. You've got to get comfortable with that, but you can adapt yourself, and you can have less to lose in the future. Okay, so it's important. Make all those difficult decisions, and you know them because they're there in your brain. You know what your difficult decisions are. They may be personal, they may be business-wise. Make them. Really do make them. It will improve your whole life. Another thing I like to tell everyone that works with me or in my teams is, do concentrate on your strengths. If your strength is sales, concentrate on sales. Just, really stand out. Sell. If it's numbers, do your numbers well, but look at new ways that you can, show others what your numbers mean, because they aren't good at numbers. So show them, work with them. It's one of those things we get taught at school, like brainwashed. You're weak at biology, go study biology. But you might never need biology in your life, and if it's maths that you're good at, do maths, and you will stick out. So whatever your strength is, really do push it. And that's how you get stronger teams, because if everyone's got great strengths and you've got all those strengths in that team, your team's got the winning formula. Another thing, like I said, that hope and faith, never lose it. Never lose it. I've seen, as I mentioned, I've been to underprivileged countries where hope is there and you just feel like it can grow. And then I've been to countries that are super developed and you get into areas, where you just see there's no hope. People, they're into substances, opioids, etc. And once hope is gone, it's super sad. So keep always working on hope. It's that light in the darkness, all right? And have faith that you can get through whatever you're getting through. But you do have to see the problem, break the problem up, make decisions to resolve a problem. It doesn't just disappear, okay? Another thing people tell me, Tim, how do you get these opportunities, how do you get them? Seems like you always get opportunities. I'll tell you, they don't fall on your lap. Okay, so anyone who's just waiting for an opportunity to land in their lap, it's not going to happen. All right, opportunities, you've got to look for them. You've got to look for them, and then you've got to have experience. You've got to have enough talent. You've got to have a team. You've got to have people around you that can make those opportunities become executable. No use being given an opportunity and you've got no skills or no people around you that can make that opportunity work. And when I say that, you really do need to go look for them yourselves. There's a story I tell all my managers, that there was this really good guy. He used to pray a lot to the Lord and say, Lord, please let me win the lottery. Lord, I need to win the lottery, because if I win the lottery, I'm going to help so many people. I'm a good guy. You know that I'm a good guy. Then, he saw someone else win the lottery and he goes, Lord, it's so unfair. George over there won the lottery and he's not a good guy. He didn't even give anyone anything. He didn't help anyone. He's got no purpose. Lord, please let me win the lottery. And this went on for 15 years, until he finally got answered. The Lord said, listen, John, for you to win the lottery, you've got to go out and buy a ticket. I'm trying to help you, but buy the ticket. And that's exactly what it is with opportunities. You've got to get out there and buy your ticket. Otherwise, you're never going to win that lottery. And you've got to get out there and work at it. And if you do pray, don't pray for money. Don't pray for the lottery. Pray for opportunities that will get you to reach your fulfillment, to go take you towards happiness, to make you the money. But ask for opportunities and then keep praying, because pray for good people to come across your life that will help you make those opportunities come true. Because alone, I'm super weak at a lot of areas. I would never get there, so pray for that good lawyer, pray for that good accountant, pray for, good clients that pay you. And I think that's another way of getting there. To finish off, I'm going to just, close it with this, because we'll get into some questions, because I normally find out that that's the best way to learn, is asking questions. Opportunities. Opportunities. We've covered that. I just want to tell you that there's a saying, and I think it comes from India. In the end, all will be okay. If it's not okay, it's because it's not the end. So guys, don't give up. Keep working, have hope, have faith, because in the end, it will all be okay. All right. So I think we can move on to some questions and so on. And I think that way we'll learn a bit more. Okay.
Okay, Tim, thank you very much. It was fantastic, your presentation. You gave us a full spectrum and ideas, experiences, your trip, your life experience, what you have been through, keeping the family, keeping positive, transparent communication, focusing, taking care of ourselves in our business. We are the engine of our business ourselves. So if we are not healthy and in a good state, in a good position, we will not be able to face every day and wake up every day with strong, happy, motivated to work. I know you are a very fan of rugby. I would like to ask you, what has rugby taught you into the business? Can you share
Yeah.
something with us?
Yeah. Look, I don't want to upset anyone, but I'm not sure who's world champions at the moment. But I don't want to upset anyone. But it might be. I think it might be the Springboks. I'm not sure who we beat in the final. But yeah. So of course, rugby. Rugby. I played rugby. I sponsor rugby in this country, and rugby is just one of those sports that you can learn so much for life. To go forward, you got to pass the ball backwards. How does that work? And then you need the fat guy that you can put up as a prop in the front row. Then you need a tall guy. You need someone who's fast. You need someone who's got great decisions, making decision ability. You need every kind of person to be able to make a good rugby team. And no one really always stands out except if you're Jonah Lomo. But you do need a team to win a match. And I think you can take that into life where you start to understand you can't do things alone and you've got to look for other people's talents. You don't need everyone to be the fastest runner. You don't need everyone to be the tallest. And that's really where I've learned a lot with rugby. And then obviously it's just that spirit of camaraderie, of being able to have a good fight with good values in it, and then respecting the rules, the ref, and a lot of it you can take into business, you can take into your own life, and then in the end of it, still having a beer with your opponents, and that's incredible. It's always good to have a beer, but it's so much better after a rugby match with your opponents, and you know who's punched you, and what went on, and you've just like forgiven. And I think it's really because the game of rugby, whoever plays it or is involved with it, really loves it. So you can forgive anything, even punches, even blood. You'll forgive it just to get over it and have that beer and continue. So I think it's the lesson of life. Rugby really is a lesson of life, and both my boys play, and I see what it's done for their lives, and if you can live a life as you play rugby, I think it's a big bonus already. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Christian and Neil. Any question
Hi.
for Tim?
Say something, Tim. I think we all were looking a little bit in the mirror during your presentation. I think you pointed out a lot of reality and true things. And for sure, I have also experienced the situation with my dog. And I've tried it several times, giving him the big bone. And each time, the small, nice dog I have turned into a small monster. And so I think that it is very true. And what I also want to say is that the industry changed. And I think, and I truly believe, and I experience also that also due to COVID, people came together. And what you see happening is like cooking. You put a lot of nice ingredients together and you cook a nice meal, you cook a nice dish. And this is happening all the time with printers collaborating, co-creation, and as you said, stronger together. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really a big fan of that too.
No, for sure. I can tell you that it really has changed. It will get changed. We're going to have clients that are going to want different things. We're going to be motivating our managers, our CEOs in different ways. If we really go back and you go back into the 70s, and I was doing those numbers the other day, and in the 70s, it was a CEO would earn around 20 times more than the average typical worker in his company. Nowadays, the number varies, but I'm using it that it's around 320 times more. Okay. that a CEO is working out. And I'm talking not about just in our company, I'm talking about in big S&P 500s, etc. The problem is that we've looked at our businesses, and although capitalism, I still believe capitalism is the right way of improving the world, I think we've got to change this capitalism, and it's going to start with our CEOs, and actually won't start with us here, it'll start with our clients and shareholders. Because our shareholders have really pushed, and we've only given value to quarters and how quick we are going to get money back, and how quick. So we've sort of incentivized everyone around us on how much they're going to make that quarter. And obviously, when we go look at this, and you look at salaries on CEOs have gone up around that period 1,200%. Okay. And the typical worker has gone up 15%. And it's easy to understand, because if you really pushing CEOs and companies to, make money, a CEO makes money by, first of all, not investing so much maybe in research and staff. And secondly, sometimes on firing people or not improving the bottom salaries so that there's more profit. And then when there is profit, they want their share options to go up. So they do share buybacks. So we go through this whole thing. And when you look at it, we haven't been building companies that are really for the future. We buy companies, we're building companies that last on average now, an S&P 500 company 10 years ago or 15 years ago, 50% of the companies that are there don't exist there now. So they're lasting on average 16 years. So I think, yes, things have changed, and we're going to have to collaborate, or we're going to be in those figures of 15 years average, so that is going to change. And the only way we're going to get stronger this time is really by looking at, being a good company is not going to be how much money you make. It's how much purpose you're going to have and how much change you're going to make, how you are going to, upskill your client, your staff, so that they might lose a job they're doing today, but they can do another job tomorrow. Okay, so all that's going to come into it. And I think you're right. I'm not one of those people that say that the world is a bad place at the moment. I actually think it's a great place. I think we've got less hunger than we had 100 years ago. We get to shower every day. Some of us, we used to do that twice a year. We get to read books. Some people just watch series. Before, 150 years ago, if you weren't outside planting something, you didn't have food to eat. So you wouldn't get to read, and you might not even read because, education was so low. So I'm one of those that I'm positive on what we've got today. I'm not a doomsayer. I don't worry about this next generation. I think the next generation, just like us, just like we are, before when the world started, if you were reading a book too much, it told you were going to go blind. Then, you were listening to the radio. When the radio came out, they said it was affecting your brain. And then after that, you were playing lots of TV games, and they told you that, you're going to go blind. You won't see, you'll need glasses. And now, our kids are on the phone, and we say they've got no social skills. I don't believe that, because I look at them and I say they're actually not so bad. They're not so bad. They're adapting. They will be okay. We adapt. We will be okay. I think where we do need in this world now, and it starts with most of us that are because if you do want to make a change, and you are in some kind of leadership or wanting to improve yourself, it's going to be that we're going to be examples. We need leaders. The world at the moment is like leaderless. There's hardly any bravery out there. It's like it's all reactionary. No one really takes a lead, and I think that's where the only thing we need. And if we get that, we've got technology. I know everyone speaks about AIs and robots and all these kinds of things that are going on. But if you do what I said on your business plan, mentally, you reskill yourself, you do new courses, you can be ahead of the trend. And I think it's going to be our responsibilities to do that. And it's also going to be our responsibilities to do that for our staff and to push that even onto our kids. So I think the world isn't the worst place at the moment. I think we're okay. We just got to, it is what it is, and we have to live in it. So then we've got to make the most of it, But I think you're right.
Tim, just to anticipate on that before I give the word to somebody else, I think at FESPA, the strength we have is that we have a large community, and also the fact that we are active in that part of the printing industry where there are huge opportunities, to be honest, because with digital printing we can print on everything. But of course, we are also confronted with challenges, and this year has forced us to change and to adapt clearly. And what I've noticed, not only in Belgium with my colleagues, but everywhere in the world, is that our community, our colleagues, were very capable to adapt our businesses and to jump on new opportunities, in the first place to survive, but also to innovate. And all that, I think, we're doing in the right way. We sometimes you need to be reactive, but most of the time you try to be innovative. And so I think we do this well. At the same time, FESPA, Profit for Purpose, do you have maybe suggestions for us that you on what we do that you want to share with us? But okay, I guess that the time is short, so we need a quick answer maybe, and then we go to some questions of other people.
No, the answer is, like I said, if you're focusing on doing good to others, and really, if it's just one person at a time, one decision that's good at a time, you're in the right direction. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves sometimes, and it really is. Look at things big and make little decisions in the right direction, and you get there. We sort of if we it's a pity we don't have like ways, recalculating, you made the wrong turn. We don't have that. So, you don't need to have a highway. You just need to make little decisions in the right direction, you'll get there. And if you're focusing on the right thing and you're putting the energy into the right thing with good people, with the right values and ethics, you'll get there. I've got no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Neil, do you want any question or should I ask
Can
something?
you hear me okay?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, so basically,
Yes,
Tim, that was really inspirational. I'm not quite so sure about the South African thing because I'm English, of course. So I did like you until you talked about the rugby. But basically, what I'd like to ask is, are there sorts of people that you find a common thread when you employ people? The types of people that you would go for, because at the end of the day, we realize now what makes us successful is actually the teams we employ. And to me, that's really central to what FESPA does, and I'm sure for many other businesses. So is there something that you look for, no matter what type of role you're looking for? Is there a central theme to the types of people you employ?
Yeah, if I can tell you, every time we employ people, it's because of their skills. We look at their skills first. We got the CV with all these skills and all that. And then we normally end up, letting them go because of lack of skills. And normally the lack of skills are that they can't work with the rest of the team because the skills the normal skills, let's say the knowledge skills you can get and you've normally got them. But the issue comes that they don't get into your company's DNA, or they're not a team player, or maybe they're really good, but they sort of like only good for themselves. So I really do look at values and ethics. I really, I try to find out about that. I always often think, will I be able to have a Belgian beer with him? Will I be able to have some wine with him? If the answer is no, it means there's already something not there, and you learn that from experience. You really do, and you've got to be honest with yourself, because it's not easy, but you do need those kind of people, because those people, when you've got those kind of people, they create this trust within your team, and the trust really, like you said, if you trust even your competitor, if you're going to do business with him and take the risk and look at something new, check, could I have a beer with him if he wasn't my competitor? Yes. Okay, tick first. And then you start looking at that, because if they don't have your values in that, it just, it's like a relationship. It's not going to work. So I really do look at that in the people I employ, and then keeping it very, very transparent, very, if I'm not happy with something, I say it. I really do say it. And I'm not a boss that's looking for for issues, actually just want to like confront it immediately, because it's just fairer on them. They can change, they can resolve that issue. And then I do give you as someone in that responsibility, you give them the opportunity to change and all that. But if it's not changing and only they can do it, well, you've done your best, and that's it.
That's
Right.
great.
But don't you worry, I love you, even though you're English, and and I thought you might win the final, but I'm sorry, but
It's in 4 years' time. Don't you worry.
yeah.
Thank you, Tim. I have a final question for you, Tim, and regards your latest great project of the Brave Generation. I think you're going into a new way of caring for the future education. Would you like to say some words on that? Your vision.
I'll do it in a minute. If I get in, I'll be like a minute, because if I get into that, I'll never stop it, because it really is total passion and purpose and etc. But really, what we're doing is we're bringing in hybrid education, where we'll have the best teachers. We've got the best kind of platform where we're giving the best lessons, and we want to give them in London, we want to give them in Lisbon, we want to give them in Luanda. So our focus really is underprivileged countries, where we can bring and give you an IGCSE and an A level. And by doing that, we give you opportunities to go out and study at a good university and come back and change your country. For a long time, we've been saying education is the key to everything, but we haven't done much. So really what we're doing is we're doing little hubs that people go to. They've got a learning coach there. They go through on a computer through the courses, but the learning coach is there to help the teachers on the computer, giving it out to them, not live, but it's all been done for you, 15-minute lessons, then YouTube videos, and then quizzes. You rate your learning coaches just as you do your Uber drivers. And we do it for really, really cheap, so that we can say no to no kid who wants to do it. And if a kid doesn't have money, we put him in there. But our idea is really to just get people through onto an A level, which compared to maybe the education they would get, wouldn't be recognized to go to a good university, come back and make an impact. And that's the only way we're going to make the world a better place. And again, it's starting one kid at a time. And what we're looking for is not dollars, but brave kids that change the world one day. Otherwise, everything we value isn't going to be there for our kids. So I think, and that's the side of technology that really does become a game changer, because you'll be able to now find talent in Lagos, in wherever it may be, and push them through and give them that opportunity to do something. So that's what we're doing. It's really great because our learning coaches get to work at hubs and they get to change and go to different hubs. So we keep our staff happy, and our kids can also do that. So from Lagos, they can go and spend time in London, and they open their computer and they've got a new learning coach, and they do it, and they swap parents for 2-3 weeks. So it's exciting. We're really super excited. We started closing agreements now in South Africa, in Namibia. We got Uganda, and we're looking for more spaces. And in Portugal, we opened our first one. We had guinea pigs. 2 of the guinea pigs were my kids. And I've seen a huge, huge increase because they do their IGCSEs, they do their A levels, but we also put in these MOOC degrees that they start doing, and they start finding their passion from the age of 13. And it's amazing how much they do when they like what they're doing. You won't believe it. And they become more interesting. I used to ask my kids, so what did you do at school? Normal. Now they tell me, and they want to argue with me, and they want to have discussions. So, it doesn't make your life easier, but it does make it more interesting. Okay. So we've got it. It's called Brave Generation Academy, and it's bravegenerationacademy.com or something. We got a website and all that. But if anyone wants to get a hold of me, we're looking for partnerships and hubs throughout the world. We're really just looking for good people who want to do something. And there's 2 sides to this. It's got a profit side, so you can have a hub that makes profit, and we've got a hubs that are non-profit, which means that if you've got extra space in your company, you can actually have a hub in your company for your staff, for your community, and it's very linked to the community. Because we get hubs, normally a library or something, we then use the local golf coach, the local tennis coach, the local surf coach, local musicians, artists. So they all come through onto helping the hub. Okay, so that's what we look for. And if you do want to do that, I'd be super happy to get that going. I see I got a minute, so I don't want to carry on going here.
Great.
Anything
Thank you
else?
very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's a fantastic project. And thank you so much for your time and all you shared with us. I think it was a great moment. Everyone enjoyed it, certainly. And we'll keep in touch. Okay?
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. I wish you all the many square meters of printing, many colors. I like that from Christian. Very nice. And all the very best. And remember that we are still the lucky and the blessed ones. We've just got to give gratitude for that. And if you're doing that, you're going to be a happier person. I promise you. Okay. So all the very, very best.
Thank you.
No
Bye.
hard feelings, Neil. No hard feelings, eh?